From the very first whispers, this story has been nothing less than explosive. In the world of love and hip-hop, relationships are already under the microscope. But when divorce rumors and affair allegations start to rise, the drama takes on a life of its own. Fans are buzzing, timelines are flooded, and everyone is asking the same question. Has Kendra really found herself entangled in a shocking connection with Kirk Frost? The tension could not be higher, because this isn't just about a marriage in trouble. It's about loyalty, betrayal, and the blurred lines between friendship and something more. When viewers saw Kendra snapping on Juck for embarrassing her online, nobody expected the fallout to reach this level. Yet now, whispers are growing louder, and the chatter suggests Kirk's name is at the very center of it all. It's the kind of revelation that leaves fans gasping, wondering if the foundation of these marriages was ever as solid as it looked on screen. As emotions run wild and sides begin to form, the spotlight grows hotter, and the unanswered questions make this drama impossible to ignore. Buckle up, because what comes next may change everything. The tension between Kendra and Joke had been brewing for weeks, but no one expected it to spill over in such a public and explosive way. It all began with a few careless words posted online, a moment of frustration that turned into a storm of speculation. Jock, in his own defense, claimed he only wanted to grab Kendra's attention, but the damage was already done. Fans watched in disbelief as the couple's private struggles were suddenly open for the world to dissect. Yet just when it seemed like another round of marital arguments was unfolding, whispers about Kirk Frost entered the picture and everything shifted into dangerous territory. For Kendra, it wasn't only about a husband embarrassing her online. It was about respect, loyalty, and the constant feeling that her efforts as a wife were being overlooked. She had stood by Jock through countless challenges, weathered storms of rumors, and kept her focus on building her career and household. But seeing Jock turn to social media as a weapon against her cut deeper than she expected. The humiliation wasn't confined to their home anymore. It had become a conversation across timelines and blogs. And with that came the whispers, the murmurs, about Kirk Frost, which threatened to throw gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans couldn't help but connect the dots. Kendra's anger seemed to run deeper than usual, her tone sharper, her patience thinner. Some began to ask if there was more to the story. Was her fury only about Jock's online antics, or was it connected to something far more complicated? That's when the word affair started creeping into the conversation. Suddenly, Kirk's name was being mentioned alongside Kendra's in ways that nobody anticipated. And in the world of love and hip-hop, once the word affair is out there, it's nearly impossible to put it back in the box. The speculation grew louder as people recalled how often Kirk and Jock crossed paths. Business meetings, studio sessions, parties, these men were no strangers to each other. But when friends overlap, so do families, and lines can blur in ways that leave lasting scars. Fans began asking whether Jock's impulsive social media posts were triggered by something more than frustration. Was there an undercurrent of suspicion already boiling between him and Kendra? Had Jock heard whispers himself? Whispers connecting his wife to Kirk in ways that could explain his rash behavior? In one particularly heated exchange, Kendra snapped at Jock with a sharpness that stunned even longtime viewers. "If you can't be the husband you're supposed to be," she said, her voice trembling with both rage and hurt, "then leave me and let me continue to grow. Don't play games with me. Go play with your baby mamas." Those words reverberated across fan pages, sparking debates about what she truly meant. Was this just about Jock's disrespect, or was she deflecting from something deeper, something she didn't want to say out loud? Meanwhile, Kirk found himself at the center of conversations he didn't expect. His history with women, his past scandals, and his strained marriage to Rashida all resurfaced in the chatter. To fans, it seemed almost too easy to believe that Kirk might once again be tangled in a mess that threatened to destroy another couple's union. For some, the idea of Kendra and Kirk even being linked felt outrageous. But for others, it was exactly the kind of shocking twist that matched the unpredictable energy of their world. Jock, on the other hand, struggled to make sense of it all. In private moments captured on camera, he admitted feeling like he was always guilty until proven innocent. "I need to be able to redeem myself," he muttered, frustration etched on his face, before she starts talking about divorce. Yet his words carried a weight of irony, because at the same time, Kendra was confronting her own guilt. She knew she had thrown divorce around too many times, used it as a weapon when she felt cornered. But this time felt different, heavier, like the foundation of her marriage was cracking beneath her feet. The scene reached a boiling point when Jacques mentioned his upcoming Puerto Rico trip with Scrappy. Instead of easing the tension, it only made things worse. Kendra's eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering across her face. "Who you going with?" she demanded, her voice laced with accusation. Jacques explained it was for Scrappy's celebration, but the damage was done. In her mind, every move he made seemed to carry a shadow of betrayal. And in his mind, every word she spoke sounded like another nail in the coffin of their marriage. What fans didn't see in that moment was the way Kirk's name kept surfacing behind the scenes. Whispers suggested Jacques had been confiding in Kirk about his struggles, leaning on him for advice that may not have been as helpful as it seemed. Some even speculated that Kirk, known for his own troubled history, might have given Jacques the wrong kind of counsel, stirring insecurities instead of calming them. Others went further, hinting that Jacques' online outburst may have been fueled by a suspicion planted in his head, one that linked his wife to Kirk in ways no husband would ever want to imagine. The air around them grew heavier, filled with distrust and unspoken accusations. Friends of the couple noticed how distant Kendra had become, how her once unwavering support seemed to waver under the weight of constant humiliation. They also noticed how quickly Jacques snapped back, unwilling to take accountability for his actions yet demanding loyalty from his wife. The imbalance left both of them teetering on the edge, unsure whether their bond could withstand the storms ahead. Through it all, Rashida's silence was deafening. Fans wondered how she felt seeing her husband's name dragged into another scandal, this time involving a friend's marriage. Was she angry, embarrassed, or quietly worried that history was repeating itself in ways she couldn't control? Her absence from the conversation only fueled more curiosity, as people speculated whether she was staying quiet to protect her family, or because the rumors hit closer to home than anyone realized. The drama wasn't just about two people anymore. It was about the ripple effect through families, friendships, and entire social circles. What began as a careless post online had evolved into a storm of allegations, leaving fans hooked on every twist and waiting to see who would finally break their silence. And as the dust refused to settle, one question remained louder than all the others. Was this just another messy fight, or the beginning of a scandal that could tear apart more than one marriage? The storm around Kendra and Jacques refused to calm down, and with every passing day, the whispers grew louder. Blogs started picking up fragments of the drama, piecing together their own versions of what might have gone wrong. Fans filled the comments, with fire emojis, shock faces, and endless speculation, each convinced they knew the real truth. What none of them could ignore was how Kirk Frost's name continued to creep into the conversation, pulling him deeper into a narrative he could no longer escape. At the center of it all, Kendra struggled with a flood of emotions she could barely keep contained. She had built her life on discipline, education, and professionalism, yet here she was being dragged through a circus of public humiliation. Her voice cracked during a late-night conversation with a close friend, admitting how exhausted she felt. "I can't keep being the strong one," she confessed, "because every time I think we've turned a corner, he does something else that cuts me down." Her friend urged her to take a step back, to focus on her own well-being, but Kendra wasn't sure she had the strength to walk away from a man she still loved, even if that love was buried under layers of betrayal and pain. Jacques, meanwhile, was trying to laugh off the rumors in public, but in private, the weight was crushing him. His pride was wounded, and his temper simmered close to the surface. During one exchange, he slammed his phone down, pacing the room as he ranted to one of his boys. "They got my wife out here looking like she running around with Kirk? That's wild, bro. I can't believe people even believe that." Yet the very fact that he said it out loud meant the thought had crossed his own mind. Doubt had taken root, and no matter how much he tried to dismiss it, it gnawed at him in quiet moments when he was alone. As the rumors spread, Kirk himself couldn't ignore the glare of the spotlight. He had spent years trying to rebuild his image after past scandals, and now, out of nowhere, his name was once again linked to allegations of infidelity. He sat down with Rashida in their living room, frustration written all over his face. "Why? They always gotta put me in somebody else's mess?" he demanded. Rashida's silence spoke volumes, her lips pressed into a thin line as she folded her arms. Maybe because you gave them enough reasons in the past, she finally replied. It was a dagger of truth Kirk didn't want to hear, but one he couldn't deny. The fan reaction was relentless. Twitter threads broke down every moment of Kendra's heated arguments, dissecting her words as if they were clues to a larger mystery. One clip where she said, "Go play with your baby mamas," was replayed countless times, with fans speculating she was deflecting from something much bigger. "She snapped too hard," one commenter wrote, like she trying to cover something up. Another responded, "Nah, she just tired of being disrespected, but Kirk's name being in this is wild." The debate raged on, and with each passing hour, the story grew legs of its own. Behind the scenes, Kendra wrestled with the feeling that she was fighting battles on all fronts. She was trying to keep her career intact, trying to protect her dignity, and trying to save whatever pieces of her marriage still existed. But with Kirk's name hovering in the air, it felt like her reputation was being dragged down by forces she couldn't control. She confronted Joss again, her tone sharp, but her eyes weary. "You keep embarrassing me online, and now people are saying things about me that aren't even true. Do you have any idea how that feels?" Jock's response was quick, defensive. "Do you have any idea how it feels for people to even think that you could be messing with Kirk?" The room went silent, the accusation hanging between them like smoke. Kendra's face hardened, her jaw tightening as she held back tears. "I can't believe you would even say that," she whispered. "After everything I've done to prove my loyalty, that's what you think of me?" Jock rubbed his forehead, regret flashing across his eyes, but his pride kept him from apologizing. Instead, he muttered, "I just don't know what to believe anymore." The exchange left both of them shaken, their trust unraveling thread by thread. The tension began spilling over to the rest of the cast. Scrappy, caught in the middle as Jock's close friend, tried to keep things light but found himself dragged into uncomfortable conversations. "Man, y'all gotta chill," he told Jock during a studio session. "Because once these rumors start, they don't stop. And Kirk's name in this? That's gonna blow up bigger than you think." Jock shook his head, frustrated. "But what am I supposed to do, bro? Sit here looking stupid while everybody talking about my wife and my homeboy?" Scrappy sighed, knowing there were no easy answers. Rashida, meanwhile, was growing increasingly frustrated with Kirk's silence. "You need to speak up," she told him firmly. "If this isn't true, then you need to make that clear. Because right now, people are dragging me into this mess too, and I'm not about to let them disrespect our family again." Kirk hesitated, torn between wanting to stay quiet and realizing that silence only made him look guilty. The weight of his past mistakes loomed over him, making it harder for fans to give him the benefit of the doubt. As the drama unfolded, the atmosphere at gatherings became tense. When Jock and Kendra walked into a party, all eyes followed them, whispers circling the room like vultures. Kirk and Rashida's arrival only added fuel, with fans speculating whether the couples would confront each other directly. The energy was thick with anticipation, every side-eye and sharp word magnified by the cameras. One heated moment almost boiled over when Jock leaned in close to Kirk and muttered, "You better hope this ain't true, because if it is, that's the end of everything." Kirk shot back with equal heat. "Man, don't put your marriage problems on me." The exchange was brief, but it was enough to send shockwaves through the group. By now, fans were divided into camps. Some sided with Kendra, praising her strength for standing up against Jock's disrespect. Others accused her of hiding secrets, pointing to the rumors with Kirk as proof that there was more to the story. And then there were those who dragged Kirk mercilessly, calling him out for his history and accusing him of being incapable of staying out of scandal. Social media became a battlefield, with each new clip or rumor sparking fresh arguments and debates. As the pressure mounted, Kendra began questioning her own limits. How much more could she take before something inside her broke? She replayed the arguments in her mind, each harsh word echoing like a wound that refused to heal. In quiet moments, she admitted to herself that she didn't know if her marriage could survive this. And yet, even in her doubt, a part of her still hoped that somehow, through all the chaos, there was a way forward. The main question hanging over everything was no longer just about Jock's social media post. It had become a deeper question of loyalty, respect, and whether trust could ever be rebuilt once it had been shattered. With Kirk's name now woven into the narrative, the stakes had never been higher. For Kendra, every step forward felt like walking across a minefield, never knowing when the next explosion would come. For Jock, every whisper of betrayal chipped away at the foundation of his pride. And for Kirk, every day that passed without a clear denial only dragged him deeper into the fire. The lines were drawn, the rumors growing louder, and the families caught in the crossfire were left wondering how much more damage could be done before the truth finally came to light. And as the drama continued to unfold, one thing was clear. This wasn't just another fight. This was a scandal big enough to reshape friendships, marriages, and reputations in ways no one could have predicted. The energy between the couples had shifted completely, and it wasn't just the cameras that captured the unease. Everyone around them could feel it. Jock and Kendra weren't merely bickering spouses anymore. They were two people living in a pressure cooker of mistrust and resentment. The added weight of Kirk's name only made the pot boil over faster, and the people closest to them could no longer ignore how serious things were becoming. One evening, Kendra sat alone at the dining table, scrolling through her phone as comment after comment flashed across the screen. Fans dissected her every word, her every expression, convinced that the affair rumors had to hold some truth. One particular post stopped her cold. Kendra moving like a woman with secrets. No one snaps that hard unless they're hiding something. Her hands trembled slightly, not because she believed it, but because she hated how convincing it sounded. She dropped her phone, covering her face with her hands. The pressure was suffocating, and no matter how much she tried to stay composed, the narrative was slipping further and further out of her control. Jock, in another room, was pacing furiously. His pride had been wounded so deeply that his temper burned hotter by the day. Every rumor he read, every sly joke from fans about Kirk and Kendra, stung like a personal attack. When he finally confronted Kendra, his voice was sharp, heavy with accusation. "You don't get it, do you? People out here laughing at me. They think I'm some fool while you're running around with Kirk behind my back." Kendra's eyes widened with disbelief, her chest tightening as she stood to face him. "How dare you?" she snapped, her tone low and cutting. "After everything I've done for you, how dare you even say that?" Their argument escalated quickly, voices rising, words flying like daggers. "You embarrassed me first," she shouted. "You put our business online and now you want to point fingers at me?" Jock threw his hands up, frustration spilling. "Over. Because you don't act like someone who's innocent, Kendra. Every time I ask, you dodge, you deflect. Why? Why can't you just tell me straight?" She shook her head, her voice breaking. "Because no matter what I say, you'll twist it. You've already decided I'm guilty." In the midst of this storm, Kirk and Rashida were fighting their own silent battle. Rashida had kept her composure for as long as she could, but the whispers about Kirk and Kendra gnawed at her patience. One night she confronted him, her tone icy. "Do you realize what people are saying about you? About us?" Kirk rubbed the back of his neck, his expression weary. "It's not true, babe. You know that." Rashida's eyes narrowed, her voice cutting like glass. "You say that now, but how many times have you said it before? How many times did I have to hear the same words when you were lying to my face?" Kirk didn't have an answer. Silence filled the room, the kind of silence that spoke louder than any denial. The fan community exploded with speculation when footage of Kendra confronting Jock aired. The comment sections lit up with theories, each one more dramatic than the last. Some fans swore Kendra's rage was the rage of a woman wrongfully accused. Others believed her fury was a mask, a desperate attempt to deflect from the truth. And then there were those who focused entirely on Kirk, dragging his history back into the spotlight and questioning whether he had ever truly changed. As the noise grew, Scrappy once again found himself caught in the middle. Sitting with Jock, he tried to calm him down, though his own nerves were raw. "Look, man, you gotta be smart about this. Right now, everybody's watching. If you keep snapping, you're just giving them more fuel." Jock leaned back, shaking his head. "But how am I supposed to sit here and act cool while they out there saying my wife's messing with Kirk? That ain't something you just ignore." Scrappy sighed, knowing Jock was right, but also knowing his anger would only make the fire spread faster. The drama reached another peak when the couples ended up at the same gathering once again. Cameras caught every glance, every tense silence, every sharp comment. Kendra, dressed immaculately as always, walked in with her head held high, but her eyes betrayed the storm raging inside her. Joke's jaw was tight, his movements restless, like he was ready to snap at any second. Kirk and Rashida arrived moments later, the energy in the room shifting instantly. Whispers rippled across the crowd, fans and cast members alike bracing for what felt inevitable: a confrontation. It started small with side comments and tense exchanges. Someone joked about Kirk always finding himself in scandals, and Jock's laughter carried a bitter edge. Yeah, he do got a habit of popping up where he don't belong. Kirk's eyes locked on Jock's, his smile fading. "Watch your mouth, bro," he muttered. The air grew heavy, conversations around them stalling as the tension thickened. Kendra placed a hand on Joss's arm, trying to steady him, but he shrugged her off, his pride too wounded to accept her comfort. Finally, the confrontation erupted. Jock stepped closer, his voice low but venomous. "You better tell me right here, right now. Is there something going on between you and my wife?" The room went silent, all eyes fixed on Kirk. Rashida's face tightened, her hand clenching around her glass. Kirk shook his head, his voice steady but firm. "Nah, man, I ain't crossing no lines. Whatever issues y'all got, don't drag me into it." But the denial did little to ease the tension. Kendra's face flushed with humiliation. The fact that her husband would ask such a question in public, cutting her deeper than any rumor ever could. Later that night, in the privacy of their home, Kendra broke down. Tears streamed down her face as she finally let her walls crumble. "I can't do this anymore," she sobbed, her voice trembling. "I can't keep defending myself, fighting rumors, and still trying to save a marriage that feels like it's already over." Joke stood frozen, guilt washing over him, but his pride still held him back from reaching out. The divide between them felt wider than ever, and neither knew how to bridge it. The whispers of divorce began to take on a new weight. Fans speculated it was only a matter of time before papers were filed. Bloggers claimed to have inside sources confirming that Kendra had already spoken to an attorney. Others insisted Jock was the one preparing to walk away. The uncertainty only made the situation more explosive, each new headline adding fuel to the fire. Rashida, too, found herself questioning her marriage again, old wounds reopening as the drama dragged on. She watched Kirk carefully, analyzing every word, every action, wondering if the rumors carried any truth. Kirk, desperate to prove his innocence, doubled down on his reassurances, but the seed of doubt had already been planted, and it grew silently in the spaces between them. The stage was now set for a full-blown reckoning. Kendra and Joke were at their breaking point. Kirk and Rashida's foundation was shaking, and the entire love and hip-hop circle was caught in the crossfire. Emotions ran high, loyalties were tested, and the truth, whatever it was, threatened to unravel everything they had built. And as the drama unfolded, fans could only watch, stunned, as the line between rumor and reality blurred beyond recognition. ChatGPT said, the cracks in the foundation had grown so wide that nothing could hide them anymore. By now, divorce wasn't just a threat tossed around in heated arguments. It was a looming reality hovering over Kendra and Joss like a storm cloud ready to burst. Every word they spoke, every glance exchanged, carried the weight of years of love now tangled in resentment, humiliation, and suspicion. But what kept the entire situation spinning out of control was the lingering presence of Kirk Frost's name, a shadow that refused to fade even when he denied everything. As the days passed, Kendra found herself replaying every argument in her head, every moment Jock had accused her of stepping out with Kirk. The words cut deeper than she wanted to admit. Sitting alone in her office late at night, surrounded by files and papers that should have distracted her, she whispered to herself, "Why does he think so little of me?" She had spent years proving her loyalty, standing by her husband even when it made her look foolish. And yet the one person who was supposed to believe in her treated her like the enemy. On the other side, Jock wrestled with demons of his own. The thought of his wife being linked to Kirk made his blood boil, but behind the rage was fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being the man everyone laughed at, fear of seeing his marriage crumble in front of the entire world. He confided in a close friend, admitting, "I don't even know if I'm mad at her or just mad at the idea of it. But once it's in your head, it's hard to shake. The friend urged him to focus on facts, not whispers, but Jock's pride wouldn't let go of the possibility that the rumors might be true. Meanwhile, Kirk was drowning in frustration. No matter how many times he insisted that nothing had happened, people refused to believe him. The blogs dug up his past scandals, replayed old clips of his mistakes, and painted him as a man who could never be trusted. His patience wore thin, and one night, in a rare moment of vulnerability, he admitted to Rashida, "It don't matter what I say, does it? People always gonna think the worst of me." Rashida's response was quiet but firm. "You gave them reasons, and now we all paying for it." Her words cut him, not because they were cruel, but because they were true. The drama hit another boiling point when all four, Kendra, Jock, Kirk, and Rashida, ended up in the same room for a cast meeting. The tension was suffocating. Everyone else tried to make small talk, but the silence between the two couples was deafening. Finally, Kendra broke it. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with unshed tears. "I'm tired of being the villain in a story I didn't write. I'm tired of being accused, dragged, and humiliated." Jock shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tight. "Then clear it up. Tell me straight, in front of everybody, did you or did you not cross the line with Kirk?" The room froze. All eyes turned to Kendra, who stared at her husband like he had just ripped her heart out all over again. Her response was slow, deliberate, and sharp. "No, I didn't. And the fact that you would ask me here in front of everybody shows me exactly how little you value me as your wife." Kirk quickly raised his hands, his voice firm. "And I didn't either. I don't care what y'all heard. I didn't do that. You got problems in your marriage, but don't drag me into it." Rashida, unable to hold her tongue any longer, snapped. "And this right here is why I'm so over it. Every time, it's Kirk's name. Every time, it's another scandal. I'm sick of being the one who has to sit here quiet while people laugh at us." Her words shook the room, her usual calm replaced with raw frustration. Kirk tried to calm her, but her voice only grew louder. "Whether it's true or not, I'm tired of cleaning up your messes." The outburst sent shockwaves across the group, fans later commenting that Rashida's explosion was one of the most powerful moments they'd seen in years. The argument spiraled from there, voices overlapping, accusations flying, tears spilling. Kendra's hurt collided with Jock's pride. Kirk's denials clashed with Rashida's anger, and the entire cast watched as two marriages unraveled in real time. By the end of the night, nothing had been resolved, only exposed. The cameras caught every second, and the footage became instant gold for fans hungry for the mess. Social media exploded the moment the clips hit the internet. Hashtags trended. For days, Kendra vs. Jock, Kirk drama, divorce rumors, each one filled with theories, jokes, and endless debates. Fans were divided. Some stood by Kendra, calling her a victim of constant disrespect. Others sided with Jock, insisting that his anger was justified given Kirk's history. And then there were those who dragged Kirk mercilessly, laughing at how he once again found himself in the middle of chaos. In the quiet aftermath, Kendra sat with her mother, pouring her heart out. "I don't know if I can keep fighting for this," she admitted, her voice shaking. "I wanted a husband who respected me, who trusted me, but instead I feel like I'm always defending myself. And now, with these rumors, I don't even recognize my own marriage." Her mother squeezed her hand, reminding her that her happiness mattered too. "Baby, sometimes letting go is the only way to hold on to yourself." The words lingered, heavy with possibility. Jock, alone in his car late at night, recorded a voice memo he never sent. His voice cracked as he spoke into the silence. "I know I messed up. I know I shouldn't have put our business out there, but I can't shake the image of her with Kirk, even if it ain't real. And that's killing me. Because what if I lose her over something that was never even true?" The recording ended abruptly, the weight of his own fears pressing down on him. Kirk and Rashida, too, faced an uncertain road. Though Kirk insisted he was innocent, Rashida's patience had worn thin. She loved him, but she was tired of being collateral damage in scandals that weren't hers. "If this keeps up," she warned him, "I don't know how much more I can take." Kirk nodded silently, knowing that for once there were no excuses left to give. By the end of it all, The story wasn't just about rumors of an affair. It was about broken trust, wounded pride, and the fragile lines that hold relationships together. Whether true or not, the allegations had left scars that couldn't easily be healed. Fans were left stunned, wondering if they had just witnessed the unraveling of two marriages at once. The last scene captured Kendra walking away from Joss after yet another argument, her heels clicking against the floor as he called after her. She didn't look back, and as the screen faded to black, the questions hung in the air, unanswered and heavy. Was this the end for Kendra and Jacques? Would Rashida finally reach her breaking point with Kirk? And how much longer could any of them survive under the weight of rumors that refused to die? The drama had reached its peak, but one thing was certain. The fallout was only just beginning. And just like that, we're left with more questions than answers. Kendra and Jacques' marriage, once painted as a story of love conquering obstacles, now hangs by the thinnest of threads. The divorce talk isn't just a heated argument anymore. It's a reality creeping closer with every fight, every rumor, every accusation. The shocking part is how Kirk's name, whether fair or not, has become the spark that lit the firestorm. It's not just about one couple fighting for survival. It's about how fragile trust can be, and how quickly whispers can turn into headlines that change lives forever. The fallout is heavy. Fans are stunned by Kendra's raw emotions, torn between believing she's unfairly accused or wondering if she's hiding something. Jacques' pride and paranoia have left him spiraling, and even his closest friends can't pull him back from the edge. Kirk insists he's innocent, but his past makes it hard for anyone to give him the benefit of the doubt. Rashida's explosion shows that even she has her limits, and many are asking if this scandal could push her over the edge. What happens next? Will Kendra finally walk away for good? Or will Jacques find a way to redeem himself before it's too late? Will Kirk and Rashida survive yet another round of scandal? Or will this be the moment that tears them apart for good? One thing is certain. The drama is far from over. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Kendra and Jacques' marriage can be saved, or is divorce inevitable at this point? Do you believe the rumors about Kirk, or is he just an easy target because of his past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications so you never miss the next twist in this wild story. Because trust us, you won't want to miss what happens next.